Hello, fancy seeing you here. It's been a long time. Episode 187 of New Meta Podcast. We're finally back. We've been struggling, it must be said, over the summer months to assemble the trio of myself, Stan, the Magic T, Marco, aka Taco, and Adam. Come dine with me, but we're finally all here with an episode to talk about our own games, the meta, the major, and general Dota bits. Marco, how have you been? How's your summer been? How's the last, year, month, week, however long it's been since the last episode? How's it going?
Yeah, it's been an eternity. I must beg for the forgiveness of the listeners for being MIA. We've all been doing gravity training, pod Dota lifestyle for a month. To come back stronger than ever. But no, it's been good. It's been a good summer. I was away. I've been melting at home a bit. Been enjoying a bit of Dota. I had a bit of hiatus during when I went away, and then I came back and I had a classic love-hate relationship to the game. And yeah, there's Pro Dota on the television these days with the major, so it's pretty fun. It's a good time. Good time to be alive.
Nice, yeah. I mean, good time to be back. Adam, likewise. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's good. It's been 5 weeks. I just checked.
Really?
July 4th. July 4th was our last episode record date. So, Crikey. 5 weeks and 2 days? That's insane.
And the listeners are up in arms. Understandably so. Yeah, I don't know. I think previous summers have just been COVID summers, so we've just been at home anyway, not doing anything. So this is the first one where maybe there's been holidays going on. It's just been difficult to make happen.
There's been weeks when I haven't even had my computer turned on. That's crazy.
Unheard of.
Was it liberating or was it uncomfortable?
It felt liberating, yeah. But I do miss playing the game, so I should get back into the swing of it.
Yeah, and there's a major happening in your neck of the woods, kind of. Texas. That's not too far away. It's your call to arms. I think it's time to fly in again. I don't know how much of the major we've been watching. I've been watching a fair bit of it, or maybe go into that post games. I feel like maybe the best thing to do is just to fly into some gameplay. What's been going on. Marco, I'll maybe let you lead the pack. I don't know what you want to pick out over the last 5 weeks. But it's all yours.
So maybe that means if it's been so long, maybe it's missed my little ranked streak, because I did have a bit of a ranked streak going on where I was playing Jakiro and Crystal Maiden, POS 5, and did climb a bit, but those games were a bit too far in the distance to recount. I then had this hiatus. I then come back. I actually had some greens upon return, which is surprising. Monkey, Void Spirit, 17-0-12 Void Spirit solo rank. Just what's this game? Wraith King in unranked solo. What am I doing? Dawnbreaker, fine. Then I had this 3 loss streak, and granted, one of them's a 5-24 puck. I honestly was like, Dota's the worst game ever. With this because they were just such low quality games. It was one of those of, why am I playing this? This is so bad. What is life? And then I come out the dark side and have a 4 green streak because I'm with you and Ron. So a bit of party action comes back into play. I actually won ranked win. Ad hoc rank with Shakiro win just to get a bit of taste of MMR, keep climbing. So now I'm on this kind of I've had some MMR injected into my veins. I've had some party wins where the average rank is ancient and it's just an absolute shit show in the fountain. That's pretty fun. So I guess I'm ended on all's well that ends well.
Nice.
A bit of a Marcy POS 1, Centaur POS 1. I've been gunning for Pudge POS 1, but it's very hard for Pudge to not be banned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the trend.
I mean, Adam, I know you've not been at the keyboard so much, like you said, but have you been at the keyboard at all over the last 5 weeks? Have you got anything to report?
I just did a snipping tool of my activity on DotA Buff. It's hard to read because it's like the whole
existence of Dota.
It's from August 2013 to now, and you can see a wall of just dots, and then you get down to the very bottom, and it looks like just open space, like a black hole has consumed everything, and there are no games. It's so dark. It's so sad. What's happened?
Need to draft you back in for some healthy 5 stacks.
We need some 5 stacks. I've played 2 weeks ago. I played 2 games, and then it was 2 weeks before that. So I don't know. I played a Lich game. I played a Crystal Maiden game. That's what I do, I guess. If you can only have one.
You played a Grimstroke game that lasted exactly 1 hour.
Yeah, that was awesome.
1 hour, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. Very cool.
I went first items, Solar Crest in that one. That one was kind of fun. Luckily, we won these games because otherwise, if you don't play for 2 weeks and then you lose, you're like, well, I guess I won't play for another 2. I at least had happy thoughts going into my long breaks.
Yeah.
I don't even know the meta. I feel like I've missed so much prime time content.
You've not missed a big patch at least.
Yeah, if there was ever a patch, I'd be back. That's for sure. If there was a big something or like a battle pass, it would reel me back in immediately.
God, I'm looking at your game, your 1 hour Grimstroke game. First of all, every single hero in the game has the shard, which maybe says something about the shard. And then also, you've got a bounty hunter on your team that's got 10k stolen gold from Janada. 10k.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That's unbelievable. 10k.
Our entire team has Ags as well. And 3 of us have it since, eaten an Ags.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I do remember that one being fun. Supreme late game. I don't think it was a good Acceptor game for Grim. Because it's like the other team had Invoker Mars, Chin, Dawnbreaker, and Spearbreaker. There's not very good Dark Portraits, but I was like, what else am I going to do? I should have just got a Hex, I think. I should have gone Hex and then a Octarine Core instead of Ag's Octarine Core. But I do remember really liking the Solar Crest first. Because throwing that on a Razor that you're laning with is all you need to do.
Solar Crest is a forgotten item, I think. It's a really, really nice one. That it's underbuilt, I feel like, especially in pubs. But yeah,
we'll say one thing. It's pseudo Dota related. Have you heard of that Dolly AI through OpenAI? Remember OpenAI did the Dota bots, and then so they have this new project with AI generated art. I don't know if you've seen that, where you give it a prompt and it'll make art for you.
Oh, is that Reddit?
I've been messing around with that. No, he's not using the Dolly one. He's using a different one. But this one's through OpenAI. I had a 2-month waiting period to get in, and it's pretty fun. And I made a Crystal Maiden, but I couldn't just say Crystal Maiden from Dota 2. It didn't like that, so I said Elsa from Frozen in a Japanese style art, and it came out pretty good. I'll have to share that.
Interesting. That is interesting. Maybe one for the Discord. What, in terms of my games, I will flag to the pod, to the listeners, that I actually have a full green profile right now. So if you click on if you expand the page, it's not fully green, but I have the fated, what is it, 8 greens? Yeah, 8 greens in a row, and only one hero repeat. And that hero repeat is Enigma, which is not one of my heroes, really. So, I mean, if you look at my games, like Enigma, Dazzle, Lion, Spec, Underlord, Enigma, Sniper, Storm. So overall, just world-class Dota 2 unranked gameplay.
World-class. Pure unranked.
Pure unranked, I'm afraid to say, yeah. My ranked actually hasn't gone very well, so I was actually flying up. I was a win away from Divine 3, and I'm not sure if we've even covered my Bing on the pod.
Did you Bing Divine 3?
No, so I Bing Divine 2. And I don't think we've covered on the pod since I got 5k. So
it was in the Discord, that.
It was in the Discord, but it was in the Discord, but not live recorded. So
no.
Officially 5k gamer. Let's ignore the fact that my MMR is now not 5k, but
how could we have done that? You finally it's such a big pod topic for the entire time. We talk it up, and then you ding it, and we don't record for 5 weeks.
Yeah, it never happened.
Yeah. So I officially was 5k MMR, and I actually won a game after getting 5k, and I was one game away from, or maybe I didn't win, but anyway, I was one game away from Divine 3. I was like Divine 2 95%, and then I lost like 3 games in a row or something. So now I'm back down to like 4, 9, 10 or something. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I was 5k. And I've just been playing a bunch of unranked since then, with the odd bit of ranked, patched in here and there, but basically on a cool unranked streak. Been enjoying playing Enigma, Heroes Good, Deny Creeps, and then Blink Black Holes. Pretty fun. I had a really fun Spectre game that went like 50 minutes. I had a free Storm game today where I got annoyed with my Terrorblade because it's one of those games where my TB is just in AFK farm mode. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you are playing TB, like it's acceptable to be in AFK farm mode, but like I'm playing a Storm and I rush Orchid and I like TP to a side lane to kill the enemy POS 1 lifestealer, and the Terrorblade is like running away from the fight to farm when one right click would kill lifestealer. And then I got a bit annoyed and I typed in all chat like, can we be awake on TV please?
Toxic.
It's a bit toxic, very toxic, yeah. And then he messaged back being like, you want me to fight with just a Yasha, ? And I was like, I want you to just press a button with Yasha. Do you know what I mean? Like he's literally like one hit away from dying. Anyway, it didn't matter in the end because like we just won the game because we were just ahead anyway. But that was annoying. Like, come on, just like press meta, press your Q, and like he's dead. Like, easy. You're not actually fighting. You're just ganking. Like, you're just there. Anyway. Underlord is still OP. Can confirm my historical best hero is still broken. You just get Atos and you CC them for like 25 million years. And like I said, Dazzle, Lion, world-class gameplay, Sniper free win, Hero. I think that's
the build on Underlord.
So I think I just went Arcane Atos. No, sorry.
Yeah, like the
Treads.
skill build. It's a big... I remember dying on the hill of if you skilled the passive.
We've had this before, yeah.
Amar the fuckers put this to bed, to be honest, I think.
Yeah, what is it now?
What's the MR?
He does 404.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm all about as well.
Yeah, pit. And Adam was like 040.
That's what. Yeah, so I don't go 404. I like to max Firestorm, but I get 2 points in Atrophy, and then I max Malice. So I get Malice at 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I basically put 2 points in Atrophy. I put 4 points in Firestorm, 2 points in Atrophy, and then get the ult at 6, and then obviously get the last point in Firestorm at 7, and then Malice. Skip the talent, just like max Malice, because I want to have level 4 Malice like around the time I'm getting Atos.
Do people skill the ult at 6?
Yeah, it's so good because it's like global now.
Before you don't, like, it's bad. It might be one of the worst level 6 ults in the game.
Yeah, now it's just like unbelievably broken. Yeah, because it's like Nature's Prophet teleport.
Yeah,
you just get it, and
team.
it's insane.
So much stronger, unbelievably stronger.
Yeah,
good rework. One of the best reworks, I feel. That low key, really smart, fits with the theme of the spell, makes sense, but just kind of brings it into this really nice territory of good.
Yeah, I definitely think so. So that's basically been my games.
Me and Stan and Ron had a pretty... Oh no, it was me, Ron and James. Oh, Stan wasn't in this game. So, I'm a POS 1 Marcy. Fun. We have a POS 3 Void Spirit. And then, somewhat triggeringly, we have a Void... Sorry, no, we have a POS 3 Faceless Void and a mid lane Void Spirit. So the comms are just dead. I mean, you've got Void Spirit and Faceless Void. Comms are impossible. So, particularly when the mid Void Spirit is Omega on the mic, this kind of like ancient warrior, just pure comms keen. I love it. Just absolute sweetheart of a Dota player. So keen and PMA and try hard like it's TI. Just like absolute random on his own in an unranked game. But it's really triggering when you're then communicating with this geezer, saying Void, but it's Faceless Void, then it's Void Spirit. Anyway. So we got POS 3 Faceless Void, which, doesn't really make sense. POS 1 Marcy. Our POS 3 Void is an absolute clown. 21-minute Maelstrom, just... he was in lane. James Pigden, I have anime I could be watching, friend of the pod, was like, dude, why have you got one level in Time Walk? No, what was it like? Why have you got one level in Time Walk? Yeah, this off-lane POS 3 Faceless Void was like 113, max in Bash, in this lane that they're not winning, like Juggernaut, Doc or something. Just, what is this guy doing? 21-minute Maelstrom, just grief central. But it was funny because it's a 52-minute game, we kind of dive in Fountain eventually and all this stuff. Eventually we kind of rely on Void, do some sick chronos and winning the game. But yeah, the one main point from my game is, oh my god, I was really tilted because this mid-Void Spirit didn't understand, kind of the team didn't understand how Marcy's jump works. And so it was so like sad internally to be like, I need a hero to jump off to move units in the forward and like to initiate or get involved in the fight. I need a unit to jump off. Like, I need that. I need that. And I can't control it. So, I mean, I can't control what your unit is, but I need your unit to jump off it. And honestly, swear to God, just no one knew that I needed them as just a little pillar. So like I'd be ganking with Void Spirit, we'd be running at this AA through the woods, like smoked. So there's no one else but me and him. And he would then just like fly ahead Astral Step, like double Astral Step. And I'm like, bro, I need to jump off you onto the AA. So then he just goes ahead of me. I can't jump off anyone, I'm just walking. He gets like, misses his spells, gets blown by the AA, and I'm like, bro, just let me jump off you. Anyway. So that game was kind of fun, bar the internal triggered of, I just need someone to rebound off.
Do you remember our game that we'd like completely wrapped up and was in the bed at 30 minutes when I was playing Enigma with Double Black Hole? And you were playing POS 1 Centaur, and then we didn't get thrown because like I genuinely was like, I've just got Refresher on Enigma, like this is when I want to start playing Dota, like have some fun. But we've already won the game, so then I was like begging. I literally all chatted the other team like, please can you kill Marco's Centaur so this game can go on a bit longer so I can get some black holes. And then the game went on like 25 minutes longer and we almost lost.
That's funny because that's a mega creep win.
That was a mega creep win.
So we had two lanes up. We're in the fountain. I was a 20k net worth Centaur POS 1. The enemy Rave King was 10k net worth. Double this net worth at 30. Stan's like so happy that we're dying in the fountain, just like, I want these black holes. Yeah. Somehow we then just don't end for 20 more minutes, and they end up getting megas against us. And then I think it probably is some kind of black hole madness that, because I as a POS 1 Centaur end up dropping off naturally.
Their Clink starts doing serious damage, yeah.
Clink starts doing damage. They have an AA with Aghanims that's like POS 5 turned carry. That was wild, that game, actually.
It's the be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But then it was alright in the end. Also, we had like a POS 5 Wyvern that was like giving it large on the comms as well in that game.
Yeah,
it was dark.
Yeah. Oh, 4-man party unranked for you.
That was good.
I guess that you can blame that one on me, right?
Yeah,
I wasn't there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
There
I mean, I got what I wished for. I got a close game on Enigma where my black holes like actually mattered a bit, as opposed to just like winning the game at 30 when you've been AFK like farming with Eidolons for like 35 minutes. Let's move on. Let's chat a little bit about the major. I mean, we haven't seen, or you two haven't seen too much perhaps. I've seen a fair bit of the group stage, not tons and tons, but first impressions, Marco. I feel like I spoke to you about this the other day when we were playing. How does this reflect on the previous major?
Oh, yeah, so funny. Come fight me, but this is a major, and the last Stockholm tournament was like scraping a minor. It was actually scraping a minor. So this tournament, Adam, for context, Stockholm, no Chinese teams, like 4 Chinese teams missing. Might as well be York Showdown. This tournament, 2 group stage, Chinese big dogs just top of the groups, smoshing it. LGD, I'm a couple days out of date, but like when I was last up to date, LGD, everyone's just like, they're a league above everyone.
Oh, it's actually a pleasure to watch LGD. They're so like, good at the game. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Everyone's amazing at Dota, and then LGD come along like just absolute god amongst men. So it just validates my whine. Go back and listen to the pod post Stockholm Major, how tilted I was that it was a fake major. 100% validation that we were seriously lacking China. So it is super nice to have everyone together and like proper tournament for once. The I've not seen it loads. One takeaway is Puck is the hero, which is I mean we both like Puck, me and Stan. It's almost kind of it's too sweaty now, and it pick and bans, it's the highest. Its win rate, I'm looking at Dota buff, 64% on 66 picks is crazy high. Pick and win rate. Everyone's like, just get Witchblade, Power Treads, Blink. You're doing so much work, damage. You go late game, you're unkillable. You're shoving waves faster than anyone. It's just the ultimate hero these days, it feels. I think partly because Witchblade is a really good item. If that wasn't as good, then the Puck, Power Spike, and Snowball would not be as pronounced. So it'll be interesting to see how they address that. So I'm a big Puck fan, but maybe it's a bit too lame now. And then
Puck's an interesting one. I feel like it's such a good hero for so many reasons. It's really interesting watching Pucks play because there's a lot of the way fights happen in Dota now. It seems to me is that all these heroes have such insane mobility that everyone's got boots of bearing or drums or something, a billion move speed, all this repositioning. And I've seen a lot of team fights where there's a lot of dancing around. And this Puck just like basically shits on the whole concept with coil, because you just coil and then there's like no escape from that area. And also with the way the pros obviously control the hero, you're basically like phase shifting in and out of trouble with the orb, phase shifting or like jaunting, never dying, like using your spells off cooldown. It's just like, this hero is just like so sick. And with the Witchblade, obviously you're doing that insanely strong first Witchblade attack, which suits the hero really well because you're not necessarily continuing to right click throughout the fight. You're just getting maybe
poking
1 or 2 there, like a bit of poke. And the hero looks really, really nice. Also laning wise, obviously you nuke out the wave, nothing's new. You build bottle, you're one of the best heroes in the game at getting runes because of the ability to jaunt to your orb. So you control the water runes really nicely, and it's like everything matches up very well for the hero. And also the way that the offlane is now, it's so farm intensive. Like a lot of these offlane heroes that are doing well are basically like second carries. You're seeing Vipers, Razors, Dooms that are getting really heavy farm. And you've got a Puck in the mid lane, suddenly you don't need to farm anymore. Like, you're not expected to play some, like, TA where you're soaking up loads of farm. You can just play a Puck, be third net worth, be, like, 2k behind your offlane, 3k behind your carry, and it doesn't even matter, because, like, your offlane's basically taking up that second carry role, like, ultimately. So, yeah, Puck, man. Sick hero.
Yeah.
Has that Saudi Arabian major happened yet, or a tournament?
Yeah, that happened. I think LGD won.
Interesting.
There was a random sad Saudi Arabian stack that like qualified in or something and just got slapped like 10-0 in the groups or something. In like a weird special like Saudi Arabia qualifier thing going on. Yeah.
Like so, a World Cup host nation gets a team.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring watching Razor. So Razor's still really hotly contested. High pick rate. Is a bit of a dull hero. We said it before, we'll say it again. I feel like, I don't know if this hero has been in tournaments previously, but the Winter Wyvern is seen a lot of action. And not just picks, but a lot of bans as well. It seems like this Wyvern hero is getting mad favour. I don't really know why. I've heard of a couple players when I've been watching games getting big shout-outs from the commentator, like, oh, this player is a really sick Wyvern, or I've been doing sick Wyvern plays. But in terms of picks, Wyvern's got the 4th highest pick rate and is like 10th highest ban. So it's coming out a lot, which is pretty cool. And yeah, not sure why.
Yeah, I guess it gives you really nice setup with the ult. Like, it combos into other things, even if you're not, like, getting the classic pub Dota, like, oh, they're all grouped, I'll kill one of their heroes with Curse. Also, the Q is, like, insane repositioning. And then even though the E is not as broken as it used to be when the Shard meta was flying around, and it was just, like, objectively the most insane spell in Dota, it still provides a save, which is valuable. I think it is quite team-specific, so just looking through the Arlington Major, Entity picked it 3 times in a row in their series with OG. Team Asta Fnatic picked it twice against Team Asta. And then a lot of these other teams, LGD, Boom, OG, outside of Spirit, they just completely ignore the hero. So I feel like it's...
Yeah, I feel like there are a few players that are specialists. But then... I don't know, I'd be interested to see the stats at the end of the tournament, particularly when it's average game length, and how long games are going, and like where the important time period is, because with the Wyvern, I feel like I'm seeing it get to a position where it's got 1 or 2 items, and sometimes it's like first item blink, but sometimes it's like, here's a Witchblade into a blink, or I don't know if it's been played core before, but I swear I've seen sometimes an Ags appearing, and just, the Wyvern with a couple items, it's now like, oh, actually, this hero can do a lot of work. It's not just, suppose you're a 5 Wyvern with a Aether Lens Tranquils. It's like, you might get work done, you might not. It feels like now we're getting to a point of, okay, if we give the Wyvern 1 or 2 proper items, like the Blink or the Ags where you've got Infinite Cliff flying, we can guarantee this hero gets value done, and if it gets value done, that's mega. So I don't know, it's like, I don't know if it is just kind of a tournament or a team-specific thing, but I'm pleased to see that. So Puck and Razor, Snore. Wyvern being up there is pretty cool.
Other developments, I feel like, it's interesting hearing a lot of the commentary about TI. It's like, yeah, man, TI is like around the corner already. A lot of teams are already thinking about that. And almost by virtue of TI being around the corner, suddenly this AUK POS 1 is a thing. And then also suddenly this Ench 5, which has been a thing for a long time, is still a thing. And I watch Ench and I'm like, man, if Ench POS 3 becomes a thing for TI, I'm going to be so annoyed, because I can't be bothered with that again.
What about Tiny?
Yeah,
if Tiny becomes a thing again.
He's the highest
an interesting
pick.
one, yeah.
Most picked.
I think
the versatility is still going.
Yeah. It's interesting with the Tiny, because I feel like the mid Tiny is not really a thing anymore. I say that as someone's playing mid Tiny in the current game that I'm got on my monitor. But like, I don't know. I feel like is this POS 4 mostly? And I feel like I've seen it failed a lot, or at least I don't think the win rate's that good. So it's an interesting one there. Another couple of heroes, classic pub heroes that are seeing a lot of play. Zeus. There's actually loads of Zeus coming out, like POS 4 Zeus, and quite a lot of mid Zeus. Nothing to say on PSG LGD playing a load of Zeus, and this spell, this heavenly jump, just like completely.
That is so ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's why I stopped playing for 5 weeks. That's why I stopped playing, because that spell should not be a thing. It's illegal.
It completely changes the hero. Like, that hero used to be, oh yeah, it's really strong, it does tons of burst, but like, you die.
No mobility.
You know what I mean? No mobility, you die if you get gone on. Now it's like, I'm playing pub games where Zeus is like kiting heroes around the map and then killing them with W. Like
10-second CD at 4, and it jumps 1,000, which is really far. It does feel like it's like there's no punishing. There's no window to punish. Like if you play against Zeus, he'll jump away 1,000 range. Like, you can't. The spell's up by the time you've kind of readjusted or even tried to follow. Or it just feels like either the jump's too long or the CD's too generous. That it's somehow like
and it giga slows.
Yeah, giga slowed and just fucks you over.
Yeah, the hero's nuts.
It's a bit annoying. So I feel like the elastic band went too far.
I understand the new hero's got to have a ton of mobility spells, but like, why'd you give an old hero one? Why'd you have to do that?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, because it's like, it's cool that the hero's viable now. Because I feel like almost by definition, if you don't change the hero's kit, he's just never going to be picked. But then at the same time...
Take it back to a shard. There's no reason why it has to come default.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, make it a shard, yeah. No reason not to.
Yeah. In terms of...
maybe just make the rest of the hero weaker, I don't know.
It is weird when you see it 404 and there's no lightning bolt and it's just all this heavenly jump. I'm kind of interested to try it, but it does feel a bit of a gimmick. A strong opinion I have, Adam mentioned, I know it's usually new heroes with the stupid mobility. Are we going to get a new hero in 7.32 prior to TI? Obviously not released at TI or playable at TI, but just released. I am still holding out for a POS 1 hero. I'll die happy if there's a POS 1 on release. Like a strict POS 1. It cannot play any other role but POS 1. I will die happy. Like a Wraith
Like
King.
a really, just like the most boring hero.
Yeah.
Not like some Dawnbreaker where it's like, oh, this is a POS 3, and then it becomes a 5, or like, none of that nonsense.
Like Monkey's like, oh, POS 1, but it's like, it's also 2, 3, 4, 5, so... It's like, I want a strict POS 1 on release, 7.23. 7.32.
We'll see about that. I think we may get a hero, but I think your wish for like a hard carry will probably not come to, come to pass.
Give me passives. Give me 3 passives. Give me Skeleton King.
Skelly King.
Old Skeleton King. I can't see. New Skeleton King's got 4 buttons now. 3 buttons.
Too many.
You can toggle the lifesteal. That's a button.
Yeah, we want strictly 0 buttons. Yeah, I mean, in terms of what else we've been seeing, what else is going on, in terms of the meta, I feel like the meta hasn't changed that much. We're still sort of waiting for this patch. Like, all the games are lasting like 35 minutes, I feel like.
Yeah.
This second Roche is still massive. And this barrel stuff of like DPs and stuff, just visages and stuff. It's quite samey. There's no like big change.
I wonder if they will try and mix that Roche element up, because I agree, it's like even a Herald player can watch or play Dota and be like, the game is dictated by who wins the Roche. And that's obviously not strictly the case. It's not like 100% of the time if you get Roche you win, but the whole game is predicated on, and you hear the casters talking about it, even if the legend casters, it's like, alright, the game's in its motions, but when's the Roche going to come? What happens is there's a skirmish, and it's a skirmish, it's not a 5-on-5, but near 20 minutes, there'll be like a 3v3, or a few heroes will die, or literally one hero might die. Oh, Rosh window open. The team knows that the Rosh window is open. They know that they know that that's the objective. They get that objective when that little gap opens. Right, now they got Rosh, and they kind of run away with the game. Okay, second Rosh eventually finish the game. Or if it's kind of even, it still hangs on who gets the second Rosh. Okay, game's even, la-di-da. Oh, they win one fight or win one skirmish or whatever it is. Oh, they get the Rosh. Okay, now you've won the game. It's like Dota's almost... I don't know if it's too heavily or it's like too much figured out, but when it's like a Herald caster that knows that Rosh is the objective that wins you the game of Dota, it's like, is this Dota anymore? Or is this just kind of custom game Rosh? Does that need changing? Am I being too harsh and negative? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I feel like people have been calling that for a long time, like a map change, a Rosh change, something really, really chunky. It feels like we haven't had it for like a long time.
It does feel like the game's too like formulaic in that Rosh is so much of a factor. Whereas if you think of, say, TI9, was that the first OG run, or was it TI8 that was the first? TI8 was the first OG. You think of that era, that OG gives zero shits about Rosh because they're monkey business, flying over the map. I don't remember watching them being like, yeah, where's the Rosh come in? When's it come in? Where's that gap? It was a different kind of Dota. It was mega fast paced. It was, monkey business.
And even I think you're thinking of the second OG, which was monkey business. Because even the first OG, like, they didn't really care because they're not playing for like second Rosh timing, because this is pre-shard. This is this is pre-second Rosh. Just randomly, it mattered less, and they're playing for like Spectre minute 40.
That was at the buyback one.
That was the buyback meta, where it's like you're picking like PL Spectre, like ultra late game. And then you're just like, by gameplay, making it to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter that the enemy team's getting Rosh at 30. Whereas in this meta, it's like, oh, well, enemy team wins a skirmish, kills one hero, two heroes, then goes Rosh at like minute 30 and then ends the game at 35. It is quite remarkable how a lot of these series in this Arlington Major, game 1... 34 minutes 30, game 2 34 minutes 38. Like, it's actually that insane how in sync it is. So I feel like I've seen that for ages. I feel like it's been a long time since that wasn't the case.
It's weird because even when it's a close match, and so shitting on the Stockholm Major again, there was a lot of non-close matches. That's a different pod. The games I've seen at this major, I'm pleased to see a lot of what look like close matches, like equal net worth and XP. It's close. It's not clear who's winning. But then it has felt often, it's a close game. Oh, it's not even like a big fight. It might be a fight, it might be a skirmish, or it might just be a slip up, or it might just be a kind of one of the teams that dozes off a little. Whichever one of those events it is, leads to the Rosh and enables the Rosh. The team gets the Rosh from whatever that event was, and now we're in this commanding position and go on and win. And it's like, I don't know, it feels like there should be more dimensions and events that dictate the game rather than just this one event into Rosh.
Any of you watching the Arlington Major live at the moment?
Mate.
It's
EG, isn't it?
Yeah.
No spoilers, come on.
Right,
I think I'm going to have to noob from UA it.
Keep it PMA, keep it BSJ. Anyway, one thing I will say is great to see Gareth back casting Major Dota 2 action. Let's fucking go!
Start.
Yeah.
I will say, I mean, can I say an opinion? It's not about Gareth, about the talent. The panelists, hosts, I actually don't know what the names are, but there's been, I think, an Aussie hosting the panel. Female host. I don't know what game she's from, but really sick. And then Sheepstick has been on the panel. Yeah. Has also been quality.
I've actually been really impressed by Sheepstick, because originally I didn't like her that much. I didn't think she was that good, but this event's been really high quality insights and just high quality panel shit.
I think she's like 7-8k player, and it's like that compared to someone like a Tsunami who's garbage, doesn't know what they're talking about. you want someone who's an absolute nerd on the panel, who has a bit of personality. Honestly, ticking that box big time. And then there's been a couple new hosts which have been doing well. Great to see. So panels have been decent. Aston.
Yeah, Gareth Lacoste. Let's go, TI.
No comment.
I'm in the tank.
No comment.
I'm in the tank, yeah, let's go. It's also funny, I tell you what I've noticed a couple of times is like, the casters will cast a game, and like, they sometimes talk about something in real life, and it's like pulling the curtains on like how much of a basement nerd they are. Because like, they have no idea. So it was a Gareth Lacoste cast, and they started randomly talking about the Olympics, and they were talking about like, the jump. And they were both like scrambling for 30 seconds trying to remember what the high jump was called. Oh, yeah. And Gareth was like, oh yeah, because I think it was some Zeus game where he did some jump, something happened in game that was like a jump, and they were like, oh, he looks like he's doing the he looks like he's doing the Olympic event where they sort of do a backwards jump over a pole, and they were like, oh, what's that called again? I think it's called the higher jump or something. It's like, oh my god, it's like, where have you lived? And then Lacoste goes on a rant about the pole vault, like,
that's what they're on about. They're on about the pole vault, aren't they?
Well, originally they were on about the high jump, which they couldn't remember the name of, and then they like flip it to the pole vault, and it's like this comedy segment about how the pole vault should be a real event because everyone can see you're using a pole, so it's like not impressive. And then Gareth's like, "Oh yeah, but I've it's not often that I see them jump on that pole, but I must say it's very impressive." And then they're like, "Anyway, so Zeus has got this." It's like,
oh god,
that's pretty funny. I rated though. Let's go. Let's go, Gareth, for the win.
I am a massive Lacoste fan.
Yeah, Lacoste.
I think Lacoste is so good.
There's so many stand-ins at this major. I mean, the real question for you two is how triggered are you going to be when Seb wins another major? From retired? From the off lane or whatever?
Is he playing 3?
No, he's not. He's playing 5, but like he's not playing Windranger. He's like playing Earthshaker and Ench, and he's like farming loads. So...
Who's he standing in for?
Misha again. I think Russian players having trouble with visas because of geopolitics / invasions.
Geopolitics.
I'm calm. Maybe Adams. Is Adam? You still triggered by 7 OG?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. What's the problem?
Seb's going to win another major after stating he is retired.
I wouldn't worry there. OG have got to play LGD next in the upper bracket semis, so,
Yeah, it's not happening.
We'll bring them down a notch. I mean, this might just be like a classic major. I feel like back in the day, sort of 1/3 of every majors, maybe even 1/2 of every majors, you just get some like Ori Snorri All China final, and it's like, congrats for coming all the way to Katowice. You get to watch Team Asta versus like RNG in the final. Like, nice.
I'd love nothing more than that now.
That might be what happens, because I mean, if I don't think Marco cares too much about these spoilers. So LGD OG, upper bracket semi, and then the other bracket semi is Team Spirit versus Asta. So Team Spirit Asta will be a good game, but it could very well be Asta LGD upper bracket final, and then whoever loses that wins the lower bracket final, and then it's like repeat grand final. So
I'm happy to see China dominate. I don't know why.
It is interesting watching them play. I watched Asta versus EG in the group stage, and it's just like, for a team like LGD, I watch them and I'm like, oh my god, this team's so good. Like, actually a pleasure to watch them play. Like, they're so sick. And then I watch Asta and it's like, they just don't make mistakes, and it feels like they just wait for the other team to do something dumb, and then they just like do something that inherently makes sense to you. Because you're like, what? I watch their laning stage, and it's like crit, obviously, like absolute god tier gamer. Play a clock, and it'll just like go for a kill. They won't get it. Like, only marginally they won't get it. And then Asta will just turn and get a kill, and it's like that. There's nothing especially, to my like dumb brain, I'm just watching a failed go from EG that turns into a triple kill for Monet's Terrorblade. That's like game winning. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, Asta didn't do anything and they just won the game. But that's just like Chinese Dota 2 for you. At least like Team Asta Dota 2. Like they don't. Doesn't seem like they do that much, and then they just win.
Yeah. I watched one. I think it could have been Asta as well, where it was like the game was. They had a 1k gold lead for 30 minutes, and even the casters themselves. So that this team went on the one, but they were like, oh, for the entirety of the game, they felt in control, they looked in control, they never looked under threat, it never looked like a problem. But literally, it's a 1k gold lead all game, yet even the Herald casters have this feeling and impression, and then at some point, it kind of snowballs over 5 minutes into, oh, you've lost the game. And it's like, yeah, you're just chilling, doing some. I don't know what you're doing. You win the game, so it's impossible to comprehend. They do seem seriously good in a really subtle way, and I do love subtly amazing Dota. Like I do love a macro game. I know we shit on League for being like 0-0 kill score in the grand final, which does sound lame, but at the same time, I do love a first 10 minutes where there's no kills, and it's just how are they moving on the map, what are they trying to do, and it doesn't have to just be kind of a mega fight. It's like subtly just winning the game somehow, or getting into that position, spike on all 5 heroes, map control perfect, and then, okay, this is the fight we engineered, and now we win. It's like, okay, that's pretty beautiful.
I think the game's good when both of those things can happen.
True. Yeah.
Like, not every game has to follow the same. It's like dictated by draft.
Yeah.
And we've seen some games this tournament that have been like absolutely nuts, like kill score, just like 2 kills a minute, just like absolutely nutty stuff. Like that's what makes the game cool, is that there's like a nice mix. Just different teams go for different stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But we'll see with the China stuff. Another thing, and I'll just quickly shout out, I watched an Asta game where Monet was playing Terrorblade, which I feel like is quite signature. And he like didn't die, just farming, whatever, like doesn't do anything and wins, but like he got Blink near the end of the game, and like I love it when a TB just like they were pushing high ground, and TB's like obviously hitting the tier 3, the racks from like full range, and then there's a team fight that transpires, and sort of halfway through the team fight it looks like it's going in favour of Asta, and like this TB just like blink BKB into the middle of the fight, just like pure alpha move with like Daedalus Skadi and just crits down the whole team. It's like, wow, that's the most alpha Terrorblade move. To be fair, that's like the most exciting thing you can do on Terrorblade. But like, wow, it's such a cool way to just like end the game. Just, I'm blinking in with meta now to just like, I don't care about being vulnerable anymore. Like, game's over. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, I feel like Monet Terrorblade is one of those heroes and players where you can't not be at a mental deficit pre-horn. You're like, oh, fuck's sake, this guy's actually pretty good as hero. How do you beat it?
Yeah, definitely. And then, you know, if it's not Monet, it's some play against who's Ori Snorri play for? I think he plays for Asta, doesn't he? It is the Monet and Ori Snorri dream team of, you know, if one of them's not playing Terrorblade, then the other's playing Medusa.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, how do you win this game of Dota?
Yeah, you're like, yes, we finally ganked Monet's Terrorblade. We called the Giga Oh wait, there's an AFK Medusa as well. Fuck, like, we're screwed. Yeah,
I got a bit of a kind of pro scene meta point. I think there's some truth to it. So it was a Gareth Lacoste cast, and they started talking about these like young players and these young OG players, and I think ATF had some kind of old chat to a ex-colleague on another team, and Gareth's trying to force some commentary like, it's so cool to see up and coming new blood like stomping the scene, and this is like the new generation, and look at them with the kind of little banter they have with their other kind of nerdy friends that they've played on a team with. And I've got this obvious bias of the classic old school pros and all that, and obviously got biased because grown up with it, etc. And so I look at this kind of ATF up and coming generation of youngsters, and it's like I could not care less about any of them. But a reflection on that point is, I do think they are doomed to fail in this bigger picture esports way, because you don't have a tournament like the Summit where you've got the pros sat on a seat on a sofa kind of exposing themselves to the world in this unbelievably natural way for then you to kind of follow and become a fan of. Or even streaming used to be, it felt a lot more common and widespread amongst the pros because the whole scene was a lot more less developed. Whereas nowadays the equivalent is like, yeah, you're not gonna see one of these OG players at the Summit on a couch kind of being legit and genuine. Nah, they're gonna be winning TI at 18, not like playing in-houses at Toxic NA at 18. So it almost feels like you just can't replicate what the first generation went through. So it feels like this new generation of like, up and comers. When a commentator tries to hype it up as an interesting sitch, I'm like, it's just dead. Which is not bad in itself. It's just you can't like try and pretend it's going to be the same. Like up and coming, cool, interesting players, interesting storylines. So I mean, like, it just doesn't exist. Can't exist.
Old man taco.
Old man views.
Old man.
I think there's some truth to that though. Like, do you know what I mean? With the Summit, content exposure of the players, that is just unparalleled.
There's definitely a point about like third-party tournaments, isn't there? Like, obviously, Summit, I feel like is like everyone's favorite tournament. It's the same with StarCraft 2, like Home Story Cup.
Yeah,
it's just like the dream tournament because you get. It's almost like you feel in a weird way. You feel like you're part of a LAN with pros.
Yeah,
because the way the stream and the production is done is like it's very grassrootsy and it feels very LAN-like and it's very deliberately very casual. Like you're hearing pros cast games where there's no production value, it's pure like nerd value.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I'm totally with you. I absolutely used to love those events. It's almost like the scene's too professional now.
It is too
and it's
developed.
like even if Amar or like some BZM or whatever was going to go on the couch at some Summit, I almost feel like they'd be getting a word from this like faceless OG CEO being like, by the way, don't spill any strats.
Yeah.
It's like,
and if anything, they'd be like, don't go on the Summit or the couch because get back to your training room and you've got TI to make $10 million from next month. Like, the stakes are that much higher. Everything's that much higher. Stake and professional, etc. Which is natural development, but it's, you end up losing that those grassroots elements. Because if you think who are the old school pros that everyone knows and loves and or charismatic in the nerdy way, it's like Puppy, Notel, Artor,
Kuro, maybe
Kuroki, big time as well. They've all been on the Summit couch for hours, just kind of exposing themselves to the masses, giving their insight, having a bit of banter in a nerdy way. It's like, that's how you kind of build this massive fandom. Plus being a pro at the game and being sick, but it's like, that element you could not replicate in today's esports scene, for better or for worse.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is like
now
depressing.
It is depressing, but now you've just got like killer 18-year-olds that literally ATF is an absolute killer, just winning millions because he's a beast at the game and they're better than everyone else and kind of smarter, and the brain of those kids is like so raw and unparalleled how good it is that everyone else just can't keep up.
It is interesting though. I feel like I genuinely feel like the average age of Dota is going up for sure, like amongst the pros, and it's also by virtue of two things. One, the fact that Dota, there's so much money in it that pros are like incentivized to stay on for longer than they might otherwise be. And also maybe something to do with just the age of the game. Because I feel like a lot of these players, like, they've been around like for a while. Just looking through like the list of these players. So first we've got Tundra, Skitter, like 9. Yeah, 9's relatively new, but like 33, Satsuka, Snaking, Skitter, Matu, Mickey, Zai, Boxy, Insania, Jerax. They've all been around for so long.
Is you just saying Insane has been around for so long?
He's been around for like 4 years.
That's not long, is it?
That's quite a while.
COVID happened, so it's like the COVID black hole of time.
Insane is super young.
the only teams really that are like a lot of new players, OG, like a lot of new players, and then like Team Spirit, Collapse, Toronto, Tokyo, Mirror, Yotaro, they're all young. I mean, Yotoro's like 10 or whatever. And then there's a lot of teams that have like players that have been around for a while but haven't been tier 1 or tier 2, like Entity, Saberlight, tier 1 God player.
I think Saberlight's young.
Marco Triggered, and then like Stormer or whatever, other people, Fishman. But even like, I guess LGD, but even LGD is like, they've got Y, they've got faith behind. It's like the comeback of their careers. They've got this like, yeah, it's an interesting one. Because China traditionally is, I feel like, always had random people you've never heard of that are like the best players ever. But then there's still a bit of that. You look at LGD, they've got Nothing to Say, who's very, very young, and is like the highest MMR in China. But then the other stacks, like Royal Never Give Up, Somnus, Chalice, Kaka, Ex Nova, they're old. They're all old. And the other China stack, Asta, like Monet, Ori, XXX, Baboka, that's old, you know what I mean? It's I don't know, mate, I kind of feel like I want a bit more fresh blood. I feel like there's a lot of people that I've been seeing around for a long time in these stacks, especially like South America. This Thunder Awaken stack, like the Matthew Pandaboo stack and the Beast Coast stack, I feel like they haven't changed for about 5 years. I feel like the classic regions like Eastern Europe will always have like quite a lot of new players. Team Spirit, or like a lot of them are new, other than Maposhka, and then this like a new stack with GPK and DM, they're quite young. Kind of interesting. But I feel like I'm joining Marco on the old man chair now. It's not the same as it used to be with random players that are good.
How old is Insania? Fucking hell. Alright, Insania was always the older one, to be fair. He says 28, which doesn't look 28.
Who's the oldest player at Arlington? Actually, I already know the answer to that.
What team? What region?
So I think the oldest player is a player in Eastern Europe that plays for Na'Vi, that plays POS 5.
A Na'Vi in the tournament? What?
3-2-2.
Solo?
Yeah, is he not? He's 32. It's pretty old. Is there anyone older than him at the tournament? Older than 32?
Fear retired. I think Fear was older than that.
Yeah, Fear's like 40 now.
Older, yeah. I think he's got to be the oldest person.
It's not even sound that old. How the hell is 18 at 28? He definitely doesn't look that old.
Damn, Arteezy's older than me. I thought it'd be... he's one of those that, because he came onto the scene when he was like really young. But I guess that's just how old the game is. Don't know. Puppy's pretty old, isn't he? Isn't Puppy like 33 or something?
How old's Arteezy? Isn't he our age?
He's 26.
Has he turned 26? Okay, yeah, so Tiger's 24. So he's only a couple of years younger than Artor. Artor's just been around forever. Something kind of cool. So I went on my DotA buff on the theme of Eastern Europeans. Went on my... so I played a ranked Chikiro 2 days ago. It's out the blue. Because I had my 3 games of Dota is the worst game ever. I don't want to play it. It's just so low quality, so mindless. What am I doing? So I thought, okay, I have to play ranked to get some quality, just some game play going on. So I play a ranked POS 5. Turns out when I got on DotA buff, Havos was the enemy offlane tiny.
Nice.
He's got his little verified tick. That's a TI winner.
Yep.
Take that.
Very nice. Well done.
That means I won TI.
You're officially better than TI.
TI winner over here.
You transcended TI.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah, I feel like we're rambling now. We're getting into like old man territory. I feel like it's a good time to wrap up the pod.
I think I've just seen a spoiler just to end the pod. I think I've just seen an EG spoiler. So I was on her host's page, right? I then clicked the verified tick. Takes you to a page of verified players. Dendy number 1, number 2 Arteezy. Click on Arteezy. I think I've then just seen the fucking outcome of his latest series.
Why? What does it say?
Because it's latest matches. 36 minutes ago, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago.
Oh.
I mean, I presume this is the series he's just played.
Maybe. We won't spoil it to you. We'll let you watch our new from you. Anyway. Anyway,
a lot of tangents.
We will possibly not be back next week because I am on holiday next week.
Oh, so, no.
So I go away in 2 weeks. I go away on the 20th.
I have 2 weeks to play a game.
So wait, you're away on the week beginning 22nd, Marco. So you're here next week, but not the week after.
Yeah.
All right, cool. See you in 2 months. All right, nice. Another 5 weeks. See you later, listeners.
Feels bad, man.
Oh, I tell you what we'll do. We'll get Craig to stand in. Craig solo pod.
Oh, AI pod.
AI pod, yeah, that's what the listeners want.
We should do a pod about what our AI pod would be and like all the just shit we spew. The AI would just be like, hit creeps.
Yeah. I reckon, it might be more valuable to the listeners than us rambling on.
Yeah.
Anyway, until next time, whenever that may be, have a final whistle.